You've been to countless speech therapy appointments. You've practiced sounds at home, tried every technique the therapist suggested, and spent countless hours and thousands of dollars. And maybe you've even had tongue and lip tie revisions for your little one. Yet your child is still struggling to communicate, still plateauing, still frustrated. You watch other children their age chattering away while your little one remains silent or difficult to understand, and you can't help but wonder, what are we missing? Here's what no one is telling you. Nearly 1 in 12 U.S. children ages 3 to 17 have experienced a voice, speech, language, or swallowing disorder, and the vast majority are receiving the same traditional approach that focuses on the output, the speech muscles and sounds, while completely missing what's happening with the input and coordination in the brain and sensory nervous system. The real problem isn't that your child needs more speech drills or muscle exercises to fix the output. The problem is that stress and interference within their nervous system is disrupting the very foundation of how speech develops and functions. Speech delays and other communication challenges are most often an input and processing problem way more than an output or expression problem. This is why traditional speech therapy and other classic interventions alone may not be enough for your child to get the results you so badly want for them. We're diving deep into the 3-step neurological process of speech development and function, and revealing how subluxation, nervous system dysfunction, and vagus nerve interference create the perfect storm for speech delays. You'll discover why addressing these root causes through neurologically focused care can unlock breakthrough progress that traditional therapy alone cannot often achieve. Let me tell you about Cohen, whose transformation perfectly illustrates what we're talking about here. Before finding neurologically focused chiropractic, Cohen had a severe speech delay with difficulty initiating sounds and very little sound production. His parents were struggling to find support beyond speech therapy because everything they read stated that Cohen's struggles were neurological in origin. They kept thinking that there must be some way to stimulate his nervous system, and they kept asking themselves what that could be. When they found a PX doc, the scans revealed exactly what they expected. There was a disconnect between how Cohen's nervous system was processing information and coordinating actions like movement and speech. His parents thought that looking through the scans and talking with the docs made sense as to why he was struggling and why progress had been very slow. Then came the breakthrough. A few months into neurologically focused care, it seemed like a switch flipped for Cohen. He started producing way more sounds. He had actually begun initiating sounds and words on his own without prompting from others. Lately, he has been talking quite often. Today, Cohen has gained about 3 years of progress and is finishing speech services, having met all his goals. Let's break down how speech actually works from a neurological perspective. Speech production is a complex, sequential 3-step process. First, sensory and auditory signals are received by the brain, that's the input. Then the brain processes and integrates this integration, and finally, the brain sends coordinated signals to speech muscles, that's the output. While most people assume speech delays stem from muscle problems in that output stage, the real issues typically occur upstream in the brain and nervous system's input and integration phases. When subluxation and nervous system dysfunction interfere with these early stages, no matter how much speech therapy, exercises, drills, you just can't compensate for the neurological breakdown that's happening in the brain. Subluxation refers to misalignment, reduced range of motion, and neurological interference within the nervous system that disrupt brain-body communication pathways. This interference affects nerve signals controlling speech muscles. It leads to difficulties in motor planning, apraxia, and creates abnormal muscle tone and coordination. These issues are in the face, the mouth, the respiratory muscles, And birth interventions like forceps, vacuum extraction, and C-sections can physically injure the delicate upper cervical area and brainstem regions that house critical nerves that control speech and communication. The vagus nerve controls the vocal cords through its recurrent laryngeal branch, and dysfunction leads to problems with vocalization, speech, pitch, volume, and clarity. Proper speech production requires precise coordination of breathing and swallowing, both of which are directly influenced by vagus nerve function. When the vagus nerve is dysfunctional, it dysregulates the autonomic nervous system and stress responses. This keeps children stuck in fight or flight, which further exacerbates their speech and communication problems. PX Docs address the real root causes of speech delays. Our approach begins with identifying the perfect storm triggers in your child's history, particularly birth trauma and early life stressors. These can create neurological dysfunction. We also use advanced insight neurological scans to precisely locate and measure subluxation and nervous system dysfunction that most conventional providers can't detect. Speech delays often aren't about the tongue or the mouth. They're about the nervous system's ability to properly coordinate the three-step process of input, coordination, and then the expression of speech. Chiropractic care works to restore the connection and efficiency of that pathway so that kids can find their voice, get more out of speech therapy, and get back on track developmentally. If everything we talked about in this video fits your situation and you'd like to learn more about speech delays, the insight scans, and how to address the neurological root and how it causes your child's speech therapy, it may be missing. So click the link in our bio, comment below, or send us a DM because we would love to help.